Welcome back to Crystal Water Tarot, and welcome to anyone new. This is going to be another yes or no pick a card reading, and it's going to be new beginnings. So stick around and let's look at the cards before we go any further. So the first card for the first pile we have is the prayer, and with that one we have a key. The second card for the pile is the mask with the heart-shaped key. And the third card is the hunter, this key. Interestingly enough, the keys just kind of represented for me like opening a door, unlocking something so that you could move forward for a new beginning. So take your time. One or more may speak to you, so please do whatever calls to you, and then we'll go ahead and we'll get started. Thank you. Okay, welcome back to Crystal Water, and welcome back to those who chose card number 1 in the flower type key. You chose the prayer card, and this has a lot of colors for me. You know, I'm kind of like, I see like a mountain, I see like a hand reaching, of course, praying type. I see like an egg in there. The card shows me, and it kind of tells me, gives me hope. And what I'm kind of getting is that with the prayer is that with the new beginning, you've been looking for something, you've been longing for something, you've been wanting something, and whatever this new beginning is, it's an answer to a prayer. This could be a job, this could be a relationship, this could be a new start. Maybe you're moving someplace. And it doesn't have to be anything as big as that. It could be an answer to something that you've been looking for. You know, it could be you've been searching for something and you finally got your answer. So it doesn't have to, you know, the prayer, you know, your prayer has been answered. And with the new beginning, it could be something that, you know, you've been waiting for that moment to maybe start a project, and you know you've finally gotten the green light to go ahead. You know it's time for you to start, and so you know it's just, you know, maybe you're creating something and you finally gotten that moment to go ahead, you know. And I'm also getting that maybe you've been in a position where you've always been responsible for something, and now it's time to focus on you, and that's the new beginning. It's a new chapter in your life is what I'm getting. And that's where, you know, it's finally, the prayer is that the answer to your prayer is that it's time for you to do what you need to do, or what you want to do is what I'm getting. So the first card is for tarot is the 9 of Swords. I feel like in making, you know, when you've been praying or when you've been asking for guidance, this has been keeping you up. You've been in a dilemma. You've really been searching for that answer. You've really been searching, you know, at night, you know, maybe you've been by yourself, or at times where you've been by yourself. You've really been looking for this answer on how to move on how to start something, on how to, whatever this new beginning is, on, you know, even if it is a project, whatever this new start is, you've really been looking to find that answer. And how do you make that change? How do you move it forward? How do you know that it's the time to move it forward? When are you going to know? How do you know if other people are involved? You know, what are they going to say? You know, if you leave them behind, you know, if you move, how do you know they're going to be okay? And all of these questions are coming, and these are the types of things that I feel keep you up at night, because the type of person that you are, yeah, you want, this may be the answer to your prayer that you can move on, but the type of person that you are, you think about the people, if you're moving on, that you're leaving behind. Even if this is in a workplace that you've got this new job and you're moving forward, you're still thinking about, well, but I'm leaving them behind. You know, what if they need something? What if I forgot to do? So again, you're at night, you're questioning, it's running through your mind. And then to kind of go along with that, we've got the Ace of Swords. And this is, you've got the knowledge. The answers are coming, and I think you're finding the answers within yourself. I think you know the answers down deep. I think that you know that whatever this is the time to do it. This is what you need to do, and this is what you need to do for yourself. I believe that you have given all you can give. And at some point in time, you need to move on, because if not, it's just, you're not going to grow. You're not going to be happy. And if you're not going to be happy, then the people around you, the people that you may have supported, that you're just not going to have it to give anymore. Then the Sun in reverse. And again, you're not going to be happy. And so if you're not going to be happy, then you stop giving. You stop being that person that you once were. That person that was able to give. That person that if you were taking care of people, that person that had that uplifting, that positive personality, who brought so much to the table, who saw that glass half full, you're just not going to see that. So your new beginning, whatever this is, and again, it doesn't have to be moving. It doesn't have to be even changing a job. Maybe you're just going to shift things around. Maybe you're just going to move within your company, whatever. Maybe you're starting a project. Whatever that is for you, that new beginning. New beginnings don't have to be gigantic. They can be new steps in your life. Maybe you're changing something up in your life. Maybe you're going to start something for you. Maybe you're going to start exercising. You're going to start a club or whatever, a club to bring new people in for you. Whatever it is, you need to make yourself happy. You need something that's going to make you happy. Six of Cups in reverse. This is talking about the past, and if you don't start moving forward, you're always going to look back and think about what if. There's always going to be that potential for regret. There's always going to look back and think about what if I would have. And what are those things, if I didn't take that step forward, there's always that look of regret. There's always those possibilities. Now, and that's what you don't want. You don't want to look back and think about all of those cups that you could have possibly filled with happiness and joy. And those people that you may be moving on from, you don't have to leave them behind. They don't have to be a distant memory. You can still communicate with them. You can still talk to them. You can still be with them. But you also need to progress forward. You just gotta move forward with your own. You need to be happy. Then the Ten of Pentacles. Then we also have the Moon in reverse. And we also have the Justice card. So the Ten of Pentacles, I'm sensing that you have the resources, as we talked about here with the Ace of Swords, and you have the resources, you have the knowledge, and I believe that with the resources that you have, I believe that people around you need to know that you need to take that step. People around you know that whatever this is, that you do need to be happy, and that if with the Moon card in reverse talks about like deception and that sort of thing. And I think that you may be the one that's kind of putting up that blockade of sorts, thinking that you need to, causing yourself those sleepless nights. Because I think maybe the people around you, the people that you, maybe if you're a caregiver, the people that you take care of, they may be aware of what you need. They may be realizing that you need more in your life than just taking care of them. And it's justice. It's fair. It's fair for you to do what you need to do. It's fair for you to live. That is totally fair. It is fair for you to go out and have and enjoy life. It's fair for you to be happy. Now, if this is moving on, if this is moving places, whatever, a new beginning, maybe this is also a fresh start. Maybe if this is a relationship, maybe you're leaving something behind. Maybe it's time. Maybe it's time for you to move on. But again, whatever this is a prayer. This is something that you've been wishing for, that you've been praying for. It is a new beginning. And I'm also hearing a fresh start. It is something that you're starting over again. It's a new beginning. And it's a chance for you to enjoy life. It is a fresh start. I'm getting clean slate. It is letting you become who you want to become. Yeah, with the prayer card, I just feel that this is something that you've been praying for a while. This is not something that, is just like, oh, I just started wanting this, the past few weeks. No, this is something that you've been longing for. You've been looking for it. This has been going on for a while. And it's been, with this card here, it's been keeping you up at night because you've been kind of thinking, what happens if it does come? What happens if my prayers are answered? This could also be maybe if somebody wants a child, and I don't know where that's coming from. Because I'm getting relationships. Because when I looked at the two little ones over here, because we've got two little girls on a swan. And, if my prayers were answered, and, what if? All the happiness that I could have, what would people think? But whatever it is, it's time. It's time for you. It's only fair that you get to enjoy life. It's only fair that what you're wanting, what you're praying for, it's time for you to get what you want. You've been giving long enough. Now, these cards I do not read in reverse, only when I do pick a card. The Eight of Swords, restrictions. I think with this card here, you've been holding yourself back. I don't necessarily believe or feel that others have been holding you back. I think that you feel possibly obligated. You feel the concern for others. Then we've got progression. I feel that you are, with that card there, I feel like you're coming ahead. You're starting to realize that it is time for you to move. Then we've got the Ten of Swords, ending. I feel like with the Ten of Swords, with the restrictions, that you're holding yourself back. You're realizing that you need to move forward. And that with the Ten of Swords and endings, that this chapter in your life, or this chapter, or whatever's been holding you back, it's time to end it. Then we've got the Five of Pentacles, which talks about isolation. It's time to come out of isolation. It's time to, if you've been isolating yourself, it's time to come out of that. This is where this is ending. Then we've got the Six of Pentacles, generosity. We've got the 5 and then the 6. It's like, as I had mentioned, it's like you're progressing. And with the 10 of Swords, we talked about endings. You're seeing where it's time. You know, you're moving forward. The ending, you're ending what you have been doing. You're beginning. You're coming out of the isolation. Your generosity. You realize that you've been a giving person somehow. You realize what maybe you've been giving up for others. You realize that it's time to take control back of your life. And that's how you're going to get this prayer answered. Nine of Pentacles, comfort. And then we have the Death card, transformation. So with the transformation card, I see this beginning, the new beginning taking place. That you're transforming into your new beginning. That you've got a little ways to go, but it's going to progress. It's going to move forward. And with the Death card and the Angel of Transformation, you're going to transform. You're going to move ahead. And I see that you're, based on your decisions, based on your choices, this can definitely be a yes. So for me, this is going to be a yes. Because with the Death card, Angel of Transformation, you can transform this if you so choose. Your prayer can be answered if you so choose. If you're willing to remove the restrictions. If you're the one that's holding yourself back. Progress. Move forward. Let whatever's holding you back come to an end. Bring yourself out of isolation if that's where you are. If something's holding you back, let yourself come forward. Realize that you have the generosity. You give. You've been giving. It's time for you to take control. It's time for you to reap the rewards. It's time for you to have comfort in your life. It's time for you to have what you want in your life. And with the Angel of Transformation, it's time for you to move on. And it's time for you to transform into that new beginning, that new start, that fresh start, that new beginning. So this is going to be a definite yes for me. Let's get some oracle card messages. "26. Practice freedom. Release the weight of judgment." 26. I feel like the practice, the freedom, and judgment. I think maybe that might be what's been holding you back. Depending on what your situation is, maybe you're afraid that whatever this prayer is, whatever you've been wanting, that maybe you've been concerned that if you move forward, if you get it, that people will judge you. And that might be what's been keeping you up at night. You know, if you stop doing what you've been doing, are people going to judge you? And release that weight of judgment. You know, if what you do is under your control, you know, you've been giving, you know, you've helped people. And at some point in time, you need to move forward if you choose to do so. And judgment, you know, people have, in my view, people have no right to judge because they do not walk in your shoes. They have not lived your life. You are wanted. There is a home waiting within. So I believe that wherever you go from here, you're wanted. If this is a new job, if you do move forward, you're still going to be wanted in the past. If this has to do with family, whatever the case may be, you're always going to be wanted. There's always going to be a home waiting within. No matter where you go, what you do, there's always going to be somebody waiting for you. So never fear. There's always going to be that person waiting for you. And that may be spirit. But I feel with this here, you're never going to be alone. And that kind of goes with the isolation card, is that I feel maybe right now you may feel like you're not wanted. That if you move forward, that people aren't going to want you around anymore because you're going someplace different, because you're doing something different. But no, you're always wanted. Just because you change something up doesn't mean people aren't going to want you around. I do not know how to say it. Sovar, you are on the right path. Call on for courage, confidence, and protection. So you're on the right path. So you're on the right path once you decide to move forward and you start moving forward and you make that decision, because you're in control and you're making that decision with your choices. You're going to be on the right path if you're on that path that you choose to be on. And I have a feeling that when you go on this new path, you're going to start making some new friends. Only because I see the little hummingbird and the hummingbirds. Excuse me. Co-create. So again, maybe you're creating something. Maybe you're doing a work of art. Maybe you're writing. Maybe you're doing some type of a craft. Maybe you want to work with somebody. Maybe that's where the little birds are coming together. Higher power. When I mention that you're not alone, you're never alone with a higher power being all that glitter. You know, we have masks there. And sometimes maybe you're in a place where, maybe you're in a place that you're just not happy and you just want all that glitter to go away. Maybe right now, maybe your prayer is that you're tired of having to wear a mask all the time and you want to give that up. And that's where you want a new beginning. You want a fresh start. You want to give up having to pretend, and you want to have to stop being somebody maybe who you're not. I guess I said that right. So we're just going to get some final messages. Surprises. Under the most ordinary stone is an undisturbed garden. Some surprise might be coming your way with this prayer. Something may open up. You may get what you want, but then something else may come along that may be even better that you could have hoped for. And then we have hope. An idea like a single acorn can start a wonderful forest. So maybe what you prayed for, or what your prayer, or what the prayer is, maybe that is going to start something even better. Woods. Be like the woods, calm, soothing, mysterious, and full of life. Flow. Go with the flow as water trickles down a stream. Do not hurry. So as you're going through this, if you haven't started yet, go at your own pace. Don't feel like you have to rush into anything. Go with what feels comfortable. Go with what works for you. We all move through time at our own pace. And just again, this is going to be a yes, but again, move with what works for you. Feel you need to be comfortable as you move through your own life. So I hope this was helpful. Please like and subscribe, and please leave a comment. Would love to know how you're doing. Thank you. Okay, welcome back. And to those who chose card number 2, the mask, I feel like with the new beginning, there's something going on. It's like you don't want to come out of the shadows. Something has happened. Maybe this has to do with a relationship that broke up, and I'm only getting that because of like the heart. I see the heart shaped with the key. Maybe you're afraid of what people may think. Maybe there's been a loss with this. But with the black here, I'm definitely getting that you're still kind of staying by yourself, maybe isolated a little bit. You're kind of half in and half out. But definitely not letting people maybe see how you feel with the mask. Let's go ahead and get tarot. So we have the High Priestess. We have the Creatrix, which is also the Magician. We have the Seven of Pentacles in reverse. We have the Seven of Cups. We have the Three of Swords in reverse. We have the Death card. And then we have the Page of Swords in reverse. So with the High Priestess, I feel like you've got the gut feeling. You've got something. And you see, when we were talking about like the mask and kind of staying hidden, it's like you feel there's been some kind of loss, and you're ready to move on. You want to start over. You want that new beginning. But part of you isn't quite ready yet. I feel like there's something that's holding, something, and that's why part of you is kind of staying in the black. I feel like with the Magician, you have everything you need to move forward. But with the Seven of Pentacles, you're just not ready. You're not to that point yet where it's time for, you're not quite there. You just don't have the energy yet to move forward. You have a lot of choices that you could make. That there's different ways you can go. But I don't think whatever this is, I think that this is a situation where you need some healing. You need some recovery time. That this isn't something, whatever this is, this new beginning, this fresh start that you're preparing for, you just can't jump back into it. I'm getting you just can't jump back into life. There's a transformation coming. But I also feel with the Page of Swords in reverse that you're also looking at, if you do it too soon, what are people going to say? How are people going to react? Because we've also got this where the lady has her head kind of bent, and it kind of reminds me of, listening for what people are saying. that's kind of giving me that whole, and with her just kind of standing on this here, it's kind of like, you've got your head tilted and kind of balanced, and you're kind of trying to listen. You're trying to kind of weigh out your options, and what do you do? How do you move? Which way do you go? So and with this transformation, it's like, again, you're sort of, death is you're moving forward, and it's that transformation card that it's going to happen. But I feel like with this transformation card, and I believe this one here, it's that you've got the woman and the skeleton. I just feel like you're just not quite there. You're trying, you're working on it. It's going to happen. And you've got your resources, but you're just not quite there. You still have some healing to do. And you want to make sure that you don't do it too soon, because with this card here, just this High Priestess, it just reminds me of somebody that has dignity, that has respect. And for whatever this situation is, you really want to uphold that. You really are not ready to take your mask off yet. You really are not ready to share your feelings yet. And you're really not ready to have people whisper. You're just not there. Or you're really not ready to deal with the whispers. So this one here is going to be a maybe for me, because I feel like it can change at any moment. Because right now I believe that you're kind of, with this death card, you're kind of in between the stages of moving forward into that new beginning. Whatever this case may be, this may have to be a new job. This may be a relationship. You may have lost somebody. You may have lost a family member. Whatever that may be. But I believe that you're not ready to take that mask off yet. If you may have lost a job, and you're just like, I'm trying to get over it, and I'm just not ready to share. You may have lost a family member, whatever that case may be. But I really feel right now you need some time to yourself. You need some healing time. And as far as people whispering, you don't need to deal with that. You have options. You have choices as you move through to transform to the next stage. So again, this is going to be a maybe for me. Because again, I feel here you are just, it's that pivotal moment of when you're ready to move into that new beginning. It's coming. It's just, you're going to be doing it at your own rate, at your own speed, at your own time, and you're not going to let anybody push you into it. You have what you need here. You have the resources. But I believe with this here, you're just tired. You just don't have the energy right now to try to make the decisions, to try to do everything you need to do. You just need to heal. You need some time out. You need some recovery. So as we go forward, we see the Queen of Pentacles. Yeah, you just need to kind of take a break. Maybe touch base with nature. Comfort yourself. Whatever you're going through, make sure you comfort yourself. Take easy on yourself. Don't be harsh. Realize that you do have the resources. Maybe it's talking with somebody in regards to whatever the situation is. The Fool. Innocent. When it's time, you're going to be willing, and when you're ready, you're going to be willing to take that step. But it's going to be on your own terms. It's going to be when you're ready. We have the Four of Swords. Again, you still have some healing, I believe, that you need to do before you can take that first step into transformation, into that new beginning, that fresh start. Ace of Cups. Love yourself. Whatever this is, make sure you keep loving yourself. And if you've lost somebody, a partner or something, know that that person loves you, whatever that may be, whoever that may be. Maybe it is a family member. Maybe you lost a parent, a sibling, a child. They loved you. Then we have the Page of Pentacles. Know that anybody around you is lucky to have you in their lives. So when you have somebody gossiping about you, that's just not okay. Whispering is not okay. They should be lucky that you are around. And again, you might go back to school, you might do some learning. But again, you have the resources to do what you want, to make those choices. And then we have the King of Swords. When the time comes, you're going to know the decision. You're going to make the right decision that's right for you. And you're going to be guided. And you're going to be balanced. You're going to have it. You're going to have what you need when you need it to move forward for a fresh start. So again, this is going to be a maybe, but it's going to be you have the ability to move this forward when you're ready. You have the ability to flip this into a yes when you're ready. It may end up being a no. You may never find when you're ready. It may always be just a maybe, but right now it's going to be a maybe. You can change it when you choose to do so. Sorry, I paused my dog video because my dogs all started barking. So we have some oracle cards. You know the way. Trust your intuition. And I believe we had the High Priestess at the very beginning. You know the way. Trust your intuition. You know the way. You know what's going to be right for you. You know when it's going to be right to move ahead, when it's going to be right to get your fresh start, to start that new beginning. Pull yourself close. Every part of your being is deserving of love. We had the Love card. And then card number 35, there is hope ahead. Have courage and take heart, for there is hope. There's hope. When we go through certain things, when we have to go through certain things in our lives, and it's time to start a new beginning, and we move on to that new stage in our life, there's always hope ahead. There's always that brightness in our lives. Law of attraction. Turn towards the beauty, love, and sweet joy you desire. So in your life, if there's something that you want to do, we're talking about a fresh start, new beginning. If there's something that you desire that you want to do it. Don't hold back. We see a bird here. We see a rainbow, new beginnings, fresh starts. Take that chance. Do what you desire. Do what you want to do. Chop wood. Interesting. Maybe take time and get back with nature. I see a mop here, or a broom. You know, maybe take time to clean out things. Clean out clutter that may be just distracting you. And sometimes when you clean, you find answers to things. And also like with the mask, you know, when you clean things away, you remove things that you get to see things clearer. Yin. Maybe you're looking for your yang. Maybe you're off balance. Regeneration. You know, we are talking about a new beginning, a fresh start, coming back to life. So by regenerating, getting your energy back. And then mending. Fixing things. You know, we were just talking about, you know, cleaning. You know, maybe when you're mending and you're cleaning, maybe you need to fix some things, you know, fix some things around the house. You know, maybe fix some things with the healing. Maybe you also need to do, when I'm talking about fixing things and mending, maybe just talking with some people that you haven't spoken with in the past. Mending some fences, mending some relationships that you wish you could. Maybe when you take off that mask, maybe you've had some broken relationships that you wish you could go back with because you had to wear a mask because of something within your life. And maybe that's where you're going to end up finding your balance back. And then that's where you could get a fresh start back with that relationship again. Music. There is a melody to be heard in the deepest parts of the woods if only we listen. There's melodies all over. You know, if you listen to the birds sing, there's a melody. If you listen to the wind blow, there's a melody. Origins. Remember your roots. And I'm thinking that maybe if you had to wear a mask because of a certain situation, that you weren't able to be true to where you came from. Woods. Be like the woods, calm, soothing, mysterious, and full of life. And I think this came out on pile number 1. Transformation. Emerge with beauty and grace from your cocoon. So transformation, and that kind of goes back to me with, we had the death card and transformation and that new beginning, that fresh start. And again, when you're ready, you're going to do it with that beauty and that grace. And you're going to do it in your own time. And you're going to make it wonderful. So whatever this is, wherever you're going, whichever choices you make, do it in your own way during your own time. And again, this is going to be a maybe. Thank you for joining Crystal Water Tarot. Please like and subscribe. I hope you join us again. Please leave me a comment and let me know how you're doing. Thank you. Okay, welcome back to those who chose card number 3, the Hunter. And this, I call it kind of like a regal key. I feel like with the Hunter, you're looking for a new beginning. You're looking for a fresh start. You're searching. You're not, with this one here, you're searching for a fresh start. You're not quite sure necessarily what you're looking for. So this could be in a relationship. This could be a job. Whatever it is, you're not quite sure. You know, you can't really put your finger on it. But I feel like with the way this card is that you're just ready to move forward. You're just ready for a fresh start. You're ready for something. Because it's almost like you're done with the past. You're done with the way things were. So we have the 7 of Cups. We have the 9 of Cups in reverse. We have the 9 of Swords. We have the Ace of Pentacles. we have the Page of Cups. We've had the Six of Wands in reverse. We've got the Nine of Wands. And we've got the Devil in reverse. So with the Seven of Cups, you've got choices on how you want to move forward. With the Nine of Cups in reverse, you've realized that whatever you're moving on from, certain things came at a cost. You had to give up certain things to do whatever, to have whatever you had. If it was a certain relationship, to be with that person, you had to give up things that meant something to you. If it was a job, you had to, rather than to be with loved ones, you had to give that up. You had to give up certain things to have certain things, and you're done with that. With the Nine of Swords, at night, this would mess with your head. You would lay there at night and it would be like, why am I doing this? I'm doing all of this. Why? Why am I giving up all of this? Is it really worth it? And with the Ace of Pentacles, you have came to realize that what you have been given up, you gave up everything, all your resources, all those things that you held dear. You gave up for what? What did you give them up for? Were you really happy? Because you weren't. Everything, what you gave up for what you thought you wanted, wasn't worth it. It wasn't worth the cost. And with the Page of Cups, it's like you want a fresh start. You want that fresh start. You want that new beginning. But going back here with the Hunter, I feel like you just don't know what you want. You've got choices. You've got opportunities. And, before this, the Six of Wands talks about recognition. You didn't recognize this in the beginning. You didn't recognize that first love. You didn't recognize that first, I want to say like the first kiss. That first kiss of love. That first kiss of gold. When you first went into it, it was like, you just kind of ran into it, and it was like, how do I say it? You missed it. It was like, I want, but you missed all the good that went into that, all the excitement, all the experiences that went into it. And so now, now it's coming back around where you get to experience that. You want that experience. You're getting that inspiration. You're coming back around where you want that. You want what you should have had that first time around. Like that first kiss. You want that first kiss, and however this is relating to. Like when you get that first job and you're like the newbie on the job, where you get to kind of make the mistakes because you're the newbie, so it's okay. That's kind of what you want. So whatever this is may be. And with the Six of Wands in reverse, you're recognizing that. With the Nine of Wands, you're just not, you fought so hard to do whatever this is. Before this, you were willing to pay the price. But now you're just like, I don't want to be defensive like that. I don't want to pay that price anymore. I want to be happy. And then with the Devil in reverse, it's like you're just like, I want to give up. I don't want to be so, if this was, I don't want to say, if you were like addicted to making money, which is kind of a poor example, but say you were, you had an addictive behavior, or, it was an addictive relationship, and that addictive relationship came at a cost. You don't want that anymore. You don't want to have to go down that road anymore. And it's not healthy. So you're breaking free from that type of behavior. You're moving on from that because you know that behavior came at a cost. You know that if you were somebody that worked, 15 hours a day, and you gave up everything because you wanted to have all these resources, but you never got to enjoy the resources. You never got to be with the people that you loved. Was it worth it? So you're breaking free from that behavior because you realized that you need to enjoy life. You need to stop being so defensive. You may have been worried about money. You may have been worried about your resources, but you're realizing that you just don't want that anymore. You're also starting to believe in yourself that you're in a good place. You want to move on. You want a fresh start. You may have you've already gone through all of this, and while you were going through all of this, with this Ace of Pentacles, you might have created a pocket of a resource or something where you're in a good place. You're in a good place right now. You believe in yourself. If this was in a spot where you didn't believe in yourself, you've created a healthy resource for yourself. You've created a good mental place. If it's financial, you've created something financially stable for yourself. Whatever this may be, you now believe in yourself. You're not so on the, what am I going to do? What if that person leaves me? What if I don't have the money? You're stable. You've got everything. You're good. And so you're feeling like I don't need to keep, basically, keep paying this price at such a high cost and not having what I really enjoy, not being with the people that I love, not doing something that I enjoy. So you're ready to move on for that fresh start. So with this is going to be a yes, because I feel like you're going to make the choices. You've realized what you paid, what cost to have what you had, or what cost your past that you're giving up, what thing that you're working on a fresh start with, that you're changing, that you're opening up an opportunity on, that you're taking that fresh start with. This may not apply to everybody. So if this reading doesn't sound right, you may want to check on one of the other readings. But whatever this fresh start is that you're looking at, you're looking at, maybe you've been doing something you just didn't like. Maybe you've been, not doing something that you've enjoyed, and this came at a cost. And so that's what you're looking at. You're looking at doing something that's going to make you happy. And maybe you've been not doing something because somebody told you thing and you've been listening to somebody else, and that came at a cost because you gave up your own happiness. So again, you're believing in yourself. And that's where, again, you're breaking free. Maybe you're breaking free from bad habits of not believing in yourself. So definitely, again, this is going to be a yes, because whatever this is, I feel that you're breaking away from something of the past that held you back. And whatever it was, it came at a cost. It also, again, kept you up at night. You have the resources. And this is going to be like a first-time experience that is going to be wonderful. And you're going to be moving on. This is awesome. So let's get some more information on how we're moving forward. Okay, so first of all, we've got Temperance. So with Temperance, the angel of peace, you're finding peace within yourself. You're finding peace. You're finding balance. I feel this is something with you moving away from maybe that, I don't want to say addictive, but that behavior that was not that unhealthy behavior. That behavior that kept you going back. That wasn't allowing you to do something that you wanted to do. That kept you basically locked into this, paying the price type behavior. You're finding balance. If this is work, between work and family, you're finding that balance. So this fresh start is helping you find that balance that you need. Then we've got the Hermit, angel of reflection. The Hermit does talk about being isolated, but that moments of isolation, maybe at night, is helping you reflect on what you gave up on what you were missing in your life. Then we have the Knight of Pentacles, comfort. What you're reflecting on and what you're seeing is going to help you find comfort, is going to help you understand. And is also going to help you so that when you do move forward, you're going to find comfort knowing that you're making the right decisions. The Knight of Pentacles, trust. Trust your intuition. Trust that the decisions that you make as you go forward are going to be the right ones. They're going to be the right ones for you. Two of Pentacles. As you move forward, I feel like you've been juggling. Maybe you've been trying to juggle maybe two lives. Maybe rather than having balance, you've been trying to juggle the work life and the family life, and it hasn't been working because the work life has been taking over, and that's where you've been missing out. Maybe if it's a different type of a scenario, relationship, where you know, maybe for some reason the relationship, the partner has been pulling you maybe away from your family, away from your friends, whatever the case may be, or vice versa. It's going to start to balance out. You're not going to have to juggle that. Things are going to work out, or somehow you may be moving on. You may be getting a fresh start, or maybe you're going to talk. Maybe you're going to come to a conclusion and you're going to talk it out so that you find that balance. Angel of Blessings, the Hierophant. Here we see maybe you're going to talk to somebody, and maybe with these two here, you're going to get some guidance. And maybe you're going to, maybe counseling. Maybe if this is something to do with an addiction, you know, it could be an addiction where, not necessarily a substance abuse, but it could be where an addiction to where you just can't stop working. It could be something to do with a behavior that you just need to get some counseling on. Maybe talking to somebody, maybe talking to a coworker, maybe talking to somebody in your life who has gone through something similar. The Page of Pentacles, luck. Luck's on your side. You know, you're not alone. We also have the Knight of Pentacles and the Page of Pentacles. So I feel like you definitely have the resources around you. This doesn't necessarily mean financial resources in my world or my belief, but it does mean that you have the resources, whether it be to talk to somebody, the financial resources, the material resources, the people resources. You know, you do have resources around you to help you if you need those. And the Ace of Swords. And I love it because it lands right on the Devil card. So in the end, I feel that when you decide to move forward, and again, as I go back, and when I started this, I said that the hunter, you're not quite sure what you're looking for, and you're just looking, and you had choices. You know, we've got the Seven of Cups with there's choices, different directions you can go in, and you're not quite sure. You're not quite sure what you want or how you want to do it. And so right now, that's what you're looking for. And I feel like once you make that choice and you decide on what you want to go, you're going to move straight ahead. And with that horse, you're going to basically zone right in on it. You're going to work on it, and you're going to get to where you want to be. And at the end, you're going to have victory. But keeping in mind, you have to make that choice. You have to move it forward. And that is going to be up to you. And we all have that choice, and we can all move forward. But this is, again, is going to be a yes, because you can move it forward and you can have victory, depending on the choices that you make. Okay, we've got card number 11. Do you do what you need to do? It may be difficult, but now is the time. So again, do what you need to do when we're looking at straight ahead. It's going to be difficult. Change is always difficult. Fresh beginnings are always difficult, no matter what they are. Even if you're just trying to start something fresh, change, new beginnings are always difficult. It's just the way that it is. Card number 30, say yes. Now is the time to be open and receive. So if you're trying to start something, if you're trying to do something, if you're trying to make that change, as I said about talking to somebody, they may have advice. If they're trying to offer advice, you don't have to take it, but maybe listen. It can't hurt. Then card number 35, there is hope ahead. Have courage and take heart, for there is hope. So again, if this is something to do, regardless, always know that there's always hope. When you're trying to move something forward and there's a beginning, there's always hope, as long as you keep positive. And even if you're not positive, know that there is hope, because that's what change is all about, and that's what fresh starts are all about. When you have a fresh start, that is the key to having hope. That fresh starts can bring that. Keen vision. As you sharpen your focus, the course ahead becomes clear. I just love this, because I originally said, as you focus in, sorry, my dogs are barking. So as I said, as you were focusing in and you were trying to focus in on what you wanted, because not quite sure, all I know is that you want to do something. There's something out there. And then keen vision. As you sharpen your focus, the course will become clear. And that I do believe. Once you really focus in on what you want, the course for you will be clear. How to move forward is going to become clear for you. And that's where there's hope ahead. And we have truth be told, a mask, an owl, and it's the card number 14. Truth be told, are you being honest with yourself? Maybe if you talk to somebody, their truth may help you. Serenity, number 18. This just makes me think of like a beautiful, wonderful place. It also makes me think of the Serenity Prayer, which is about changing things, things I cannot change, something like that. I don't remember the exact words, but there is the Serenity Prayer, which has to do with addiction and changing and understanding that there are certain things that they cannot change, but changing things that they can. Then we have card number 5, orphaned. To me this card feels like being alone, and scared, just kind of feeling out there. But you're not alone. Again, I feel that you have the resources. And this is so perfect. Breathe. Before you take that step, breathe. Find that balance. And that was serendipity. And I do not know why I thought that to be the Serenity Prayer. Okay, idle hours. Take some time out to lie on the emerald grass. Take some time out for you. Take some time to just appreciate what you have and appreciate what you've accomplished. kindness. Take Respa by a pond and be kind to yourself and others. Again, just what I was just talking about there. Take time out for yourself. Patience. Everything can be accomplished at nature's pace. Be patient. If you're not ready to move forward, if you're not quite ready for that fresh start, that's fine. You don't have to move it. Move at your own pace. Be patient with yourself. Teach. Inspire others and let nature be your greatest teacher. Again, a lot of talking about nature is coming through to me on these cards, like with the grass, the pond, nature's pace. So again, nature, maybe you need to be out in nature for a little bit. That might help you, especially with the horse card. But know that nature is one of our best teachers. And, I had mentioned, not in this reading, it was the other reading that had music. And music about having nature's music with the birds and stuff. So again, nature is one of our best teachers because we can watch how the birds work with the other animals, and we can just watch the little creatures. So again, let nature be your teacher, and that might be who can help you, and that might be your angel of blessing. I hope this helps somebody. Thank you for watching. I hope you join us again. Please let me know how you're doing in the comments. Would love to hear from you. Please like and subscribe, and I hope you join me again. Thank you.